Hi you guys, I want to welcome our Facebook Acrylic Club members to our special summer challenge, and we've called it Water Under the Bridge Challenge, and that's a 20 by 24 inch canvas, and we have picked out 4 different possible paintings to pick from, photos of paintings you could do. And someone's going to say, well, why would I want to do a challenge? You know, well, here's the thing. When we do a challenge like this, even though there's plenty of stuff that, you know, I create every week for you to paint, but the challenge, the benefit to you is that you kind of compile all the things you've learned from me thus far and see, can you put it into practice? Because there's no step-by-step tutorial with these. You're talking about making something a little larger than the size of the canvas. Now, if you want to know how to blow something up, I think you'll remember that John has a video, John and Sammy have a video on how to blow things up. I also have several videos on how to grid things, you know, on YouTube and on our Academy. So you can either grid it, or you can do it with that other program John talks about on, you know, on his what's called Raspberry, I think. Rasperbator. That's an app, kind of a free app you can get to learn how to blow something up, or you can freehand it in. Whatever, however you want to do it. What you're going to want to do is decide which of these, because everybody's at a different level of painting. The reason we picked 4 photographs was everybody's somewhere at a different level, and not everybody likes the same stuff. And here's, I'm going to get you off the hook right now. If for some reason you don't like any of the 4 pictures we picked, that's okay. Just opt out of this challenge. There's no rule just because you're a club member you have to do it. But this is fun, and I'll tell you what, there won't be any personal art coaching with these till after June 15th when the challenge is over. So this will be kind of, we want to make it fair. Where are you? What can you figure out on your own? When you hold the painting up to a mirror, do you see any mistakes? When you give it a black and white photo version of that as you're painting along, do you see where you need more lights and darks? You know, these are kind of some, I think, some things that you already know that you can start applying to your own artwork. And I think when you're done, you're going to feel real sense of accomplishment and satisfaction that you did something a little bit out of your comfort zone, which of course is, you know, really nice too. But again, it's got to be fun. One thing I will say you're going to want is a larger paintbrush. So if you don't have for a paintbrush background, I would say, let's see, probably at least to make it easier, this is a number, I think, of 14. Let me put my glasses on. Which one is this? This is a number 12. Bright brush. You could even go bigger than this to do your backgrounds. When you probably can do most of this with your angle brushes, but for your backgrounds and your bigger areas, you might want a larger brush when you paint, particularly to do the underpainting and stuff. So that might be something you might want to have. If you don't have it, well, it'll just take you a little longer, okay? So this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to, like I say, we're going to pick, I'm going to go over each of the photographs and tell you just some hints on what you might be able to do, how to start it and so forth. And then pick the one that's right for you. We will have a downloadable version of this photograph for you so you can download and print it out yourself, okay? And let's just go ahead and start. Shall we do that, John?
Let me drop down.
And we're starting to get our introduction. All right, our first one I thought is not a photograph. This is for those of you who just aren't quite ready to do a photograph yet, but you want to do something larger. This is a Monet, and as you'll notice, and also if those of you who have done the boat Monets on YouTube that we've done, the 2 boat Monet step-by-step lessons, you might want to go back and refer to those. One was a 3-color challenge. You guys remember that one? By Monet with the boats. But I'll tell you what, this one will be fairly easy to do. Your center of interest is these boats, and so that's going to be your brightest bright. So this house isn't going to be real white back here. Let me just get a piece of tape and show you. This, you wouldn't put something really white here. It's sort of a vanilla ice cream color. You know, it's not real white. I'm just going to give you a hint there. Same with this house, is a little bit lighter. Here's white tape. See the difference? So if I could find the end of this tape, I'd show you. Okay, so you wouldn't want, and you'll notice that even the bridge is slightly grayed. So there's a little bit of color shadowing in this. All the brush strokes are very small, kind of going across like this. Okay, and then one thing that might be helpful to do is, you know, when you go to do your boats, okay, you might want to sketch those out. If you on another piece of paper and trace them on. You could do that. That would certainly be something you could do. I just want to show you here. I'll just put some white tape on this brush here. That's probably what I want to do, so you can see this white tape. Now see how nothing's this white? Do you see that? Do that when you're looking at your stuff. This is the white. This is the whitest part here. Even this mast isn't that white. Those are some hints. I would probably do my underpainting in sort of a medium blue. Probably use ultramarine blue, a little phthalo, and white. Tiny bit of raw umber with that, or burnt umber to kind of gray that stuff. And I'd start with my blues. I'd start with my sky, and then just kind of work your way forward the way we do any landscape. Okay, so that's that painting. That's by Monet. For those of you who feel like you're just not ready to do a photo yet, but you want to do something bigger.
That's selection A.
That's selection A, all right? Monet. Now our next one is as a bridge, and this is really nice. You want it. This will be the key thing for this, is to get this arch correct. And you know, if you have to, sometimes I've found it's nice to find I've actually in the past used plates and all kinds of things to find something that was the right arch, and then kind of trace the top part, because it's a circle. All right, if you imagine this is a complete circle of something, right? Maybe just get a circle and just so you get your good arch. And this bridge will be, you know, you could, you know, however you paint it, you still have, you want to think about your lightest lights and your darkest darks. What's going to be your sort of center of interest? It's going to be these flowers here. So are you going to put some flowers over here on the bank? What are you going to make up to make this picture more fun? Okay, rather than just like the photograph, but you'll notice you've got the shadow under here. Now, those of you who have done Virginia Park on that would be a good example of a painting that I have done of a bridge where I added a lot more flowers than were ever in the original picture. So we have examples of that in our academy. Also, we have an example of a bridge, I think it's called Rainbow Bridge on YouTube, where I painted a bridge. So if you're wanting to know how to do that, that would be a start. And as for the underpainting, I would probably just, maybe because this background's so light, maybe I would just do a yellow oxide background on that, just all yellow oxide, and then go from there. That would probably be what I would do. And then when you do the bridge, I would paint it maybe all dark brown, and then add so you see the little bricks and stuff, and then add the light colors for the bricks. Okay, so that's
selection B.
Selection B. Now moving along, this is an old covered bridge. Now this is often what happens. You'll see a photograph and you like it, but you know that it doesn't have a lot of lights and darks. Your eye will go first to the lightest light and the darkest dark. In this case, it's kind of these neon signs. So the first thing I would do is leave out those silly signs. And, you know, it's nice to have these gold backgrounds, but I might want to put more light in the road. I'm not sure what this little bit of light is, but it doesn't make sense to me, so I'd probably not have that. I think that this area would be a pretty area to have as a center of interest, but I would just cut down a couple of these trees. You know, at least that one and this one. I would just, you know, be your own a forester and cut some, maybe brighten some up. Maybe it's fall, so you probably can't put a lot of leaves, you know, of flowers, but you could put leaves across the road with some lighter ones, even add a puddle. You can, what can you do? What have you learned about roads and some of our fall paintings? What could you do to make this? Now, I would probably start this painting with a kind of a dark gray blue background. That's what I would paint this first. That would be my underpainting on this. And I would grid it. And remember that this is level. These are going down. These things are going down. So this little thing is shorter than here. Here's your A-frame here. This is parallel to the sides of the canvas, like your little A. But then the back of this, we're not really seeing it. I think, you know what this is right here? This is under the bridge. Right there, I can see that. That's under the bridge. So you would, you know, maybe you want to make that a little clearer, because it isn't to me. I put my glasses on and I can see that there's the back of the bridge, and this is this is where water would be. Maybe you could just fix that. All right, so that's sort of a challenge. All right, so that's
what's underpainting on that one?
I told you, ultramarine blue, kind of a blue, dark blue gray. You know, kind of this color. We do the whole thing kind of a purple blue gray with that would be ultramarine blue, white, little Dosney purple, cad red medium to make it kind of purple gray color.
Selection C.
So that's selection C. That's what you might do with that. Now this, I'm very excited. I'm going to turn this up this way. I'm very excited. This particular photographer gave us permission. These other two came from Paint My Photo. But this particular photographer, his name is Thomas Schuler. And we wrote him and said, we saw your picture on the internet. In fact, Eric found him. It's a great photograph. Isn't it gorgeous? We saw this picture and can we use it? And he gave us permission, and even if you wanted to sell your painting, he just asked that you put his name and website on the back of your painting and gave him credit for the photo, right? He said perfectly fine to paint it. We have his permission, and I love this because, again, it's a different thing. Now, I would probably on this make a steeple here for this church, or if you didn't want to put a church in here, you could just put a different little house or building, all right? But I would leave that part off, whatever that is. Looks like an upside down chair. I don't get that at all. And I love the fact that the mountains are smoky and kind of distant. So what are some paintings that we've done that kind of help you with this? Well, you've got the French Village on our Academy members. You know how to do all this kind of stuff. I like the fact that the street looks wet. I love the bridge. This is pretty dark right here where the water is, and even though there's a shadow there, I might be tempted to lighten that up a bit. Okay, remember, and I like this tree right here. I might put one, I don't know, I think that's so pretty. I might do some more of these, maybe in more of this tree somewhere here. This is sort of a dead tree. Maybe some orange bushes here would be pretty, something. But put some more fall foliage around here would be nice, I think, all right? So there you go. So that's sort of an interesting challenge. Look how the colors gray as they get back. So your main set of interest is kind of in this area where this tree is. And you've got this sort of metal roof. Do you want to do a metal roof on this barn? You could, or you could do a wooden roof. It doesn't have, you can age it. Let's look at this. Look at the roof on this barn, which is more shingles on this covered bridge. You don't have to get too modern. You could change that if you wanted. So again, this is where imagination comes in. Have fun with these. I think they're going to be magnificent. And the underpainting on this, well, let's see, what would you do? Maybe would you do, again, probably I'd start with this sort of purple gray blue color and go from there. This sort of purple gray blue color, the whole painting, that would be my underpainting color, and then I'd go from there. So that's how I would paint these. And of course this is D, right? ABCD. So those are our pictures, and if you want to go back over and look at them again, there's the covered bridge, there's the and then there was this one, which is the other covered, bridge, where you're going to do a lot more editing and a little more imagination. Maybe you want to put you could have, if you edited a little bit of this out, you could have some great fun with this. Maybe bring some more foliage up a little higher around here, might be pretty. Have fun with that. This is your just regular, like little stone bridge. That's really nice, and I think that, again, you could plant better flowers than that's in there. Get a new garden going, okay? And then our Monet, for those of you who just want to try painting something larger and not try to tackle a photograph. So that's our challenge. I hope you enjoy it. Look forward to seeing what you post. When are they supposed to post them, John?
After June 15th, we'll have a place for them to post. Eric will set up something.
So this is, we want to thank Eric for helping us with this. This was his idea, and I think it's a good one, and he liked the idea of these covered bridges, and I do too. This was really all bridges under the water, and I want to just say that my mother, used to say when things were upsetting, she'd say, well, darling, that's water under the bridge, move on. And sometimes we just have to move on to our next painting and just make it water under the bridge.